Once a pup, now a wolf. Once prey, now a hunter. The blood of the true hunter and the pack is now yours. They are your only family, your only allegiance. Hunt well.
We're spotlighting one of the most fascinating primal forces within the Daedric pantheon, Hircine, the Daedric Prince of the Hunt, the father of the man-beasts, and creator of Lycanthropy. Whether you're a fan of werewolves, or a seasoned hunter in Tamriel, or you're just simply curious about all things Daedric, stick around. This is going to be an exciting trek through Hircine's lore, legends, artifacts, and influence on mortals. Oh, and before I forget, yes, this means we're going to be covering all Daedric princes and the Aedra as part of this next series.
Hircine, often referred to as the Huntsman of the Princes or the Father of Man-Beasts, is a Daedric prince entirely dedicated to the thrill of the hunt, the chase, the game, and the sacrifice. He is also known as the Hungry Cat by the Khajiit. What a clever name. Despite being a Daedric prince, Hircine doesn't typically seek to destroy or corrupt mortals outright. He longs to test them in the most primeval way possible, through the hunt. Unlike more openly malevolent Daedra, Hircine upholds a code of honor and fairness, giving his prey or his worshippers a legitimate fighting chance. And in return, those who stand against him might receive his respect. So though most Daedric princes are associated with chaos and destruction, there are exceptions, Hircine among them. He's never benevolent nor sadistic, he's simply driven by the code of the hunt. If you succeed when you fight back during one of his hunts, he often congratulates you on the kill. Quite a unique attitude among his peers. It's for these reasons that we rank this prince high up on our favorite list of Daedra, since he's a relatively honorable Daedric prince, if such a term can apply at all. He's also known to be the creator of Lycanthropy, the condition that spawns werewolves, werebears, wereboars, and other lycanthropic beasts across Tamriel. For this reason, you'll often see him revered by those inflicted with a lycanthropic curse. While Hircine appears as a major force in the Elder Scrolls III Blood Moon, his origin story has long been a subject of debate among scholars. Early writings on Nirn, sometimes called Mundus, which is a planet referred to by otherworldly beings as the mortal plane, don't mention him, leading some to speculate he might be a newer prince, or even an offshoot like Malakath. However, the existence of lycanthropes dates back to the Merithic era, long before many of the known Daedric princes were formally worshipped. And this strongly indicates that Hircine has been around for much longer than some records imply. The truth remains somewhat murky, however, but there's no denying his profound impact on the mortal plane.
One of Hircine's most notable appearances in mortal history is detailed throughout the Blood Moon Prophecy, a legend of the Skjal, a group of Nords native to Solstheim. This prophecy states that once every era, Hircine himself crosses over into Mundus. He then sets his were-creatures loose and commences a grand hunt. 4 distinct omens herald this hunt. First, the coming of the Hounds, where werewolves appear in mass on Solstheim. Second is the fire from the Eye of Glass, where a pillar of fire emerges from the frozen lake Fjalding. Third, the Tide of Woe, which is a mass Horker slaughter leading to their bodies washing up along the northern coast. And then finally, the Blood Moon. The smaller moon Secunda turns crimson from the blood spilled on the hunt. After these signs, the hunter's games officially begin. Sometimes it's an entire tribe that's hunted, other times a single formidable mortal. Hircine only remains in the mortal realm long enough to conduct this epic pursuit. He then returns to his Daedric plane known as the Hunting Grounds, satisfied with the sport for another era. The most recent instance of this prophecy taking place was in 3E 427, deep in the Mortrag Glacier on Solstheim, where the Nerevarine, also known as the Protector of Morrowind, ultimately confronted and defeated Hircine. Despite mainstream Imperial Society's distrust or outright rejection of Daedric worship, Hircine enjoys a comparatively larger base of worshippers. All forms of lycanthropes like werewolves, wereboars, werebears, werelions, werecrocodiles, and others pay homage to him, and he rewards them with increased power if they prove their prowess in the hunt. Even non-lycanthrope hunters like fishers and trappers sometimes offer him respect, drawn to his character of honorable pursuit. For a Daedric prince, he's surprisingly fair, in that he doesn't delight in senseless violence. There is always a hunt, and there are always rules. There's an interesting group highly devoted to Hircine in the Reachmen, who are also called the Reach folk. They hail from the Western Reach and later the region known as the Reach. and they're often labeled as barbaric or savage by other races. Yet in their complex oral traditions, Hircine stands as a central figure with 5 distinct aspects: Al-Rebeg the hunter, Stor-Rebeg the man-beast, Urikenbeg the stag, Gulabeg the fox, and Hrokabeg the bear. Each aspect serves a specific function. For example, Al-Rebeg the hunter is often viewed as the embodiment of Hircine's relentless pursuit and skill in the chase. He represents the archetypal predator, keen-eyed, patient, and unwavering in the hunt. He's also sometimes depicted wielding a spear or a bow, showcasing his mastery over both ranged and close quarters hunting. In Reach belief, Reachmen see Al-Rebeg as the apex huntsman, guiding those who rely on their prowess and cunning to outlast or outmaneuver their prey without subterfuge or trickery. Stor-Rebeg, the man-beast known as the King of Wolves or the Man-Beast, symbolizes the raw, feral fusion of man and beast. His domain underscores the transformation aspect of lycanthropy, where the mortal form meets primal savagery. Werewolves especially revere Stor-Rebeg, as he manifests the pure fury and physical might of Hircine's gift. He demonstrates the internal battle between human intellect and bestial instinct. Urikenbeg, the stag, breeds out the weak, ensuring only the fittest survive. Depicted as a majestic stag, this aspect underlines how nature and the hunt selects for strength and cunning. Reachmen believe Urikenbeg enforces Hircine's principle of survival of the fittest. He stands for the cycle of life and death, where the strong endure and the frail become prey. Gulabeg the fox is the trickster who lures mortals into traps or foolish decisions, leading to their downfall. Through misdirection or deceit, he serves Hircine by culling the unwary. Many Reach folk caution each other to beware of Gulabeg's illusions. Being clever or swift doesn't guarantee safety if you overlook cunning snares. He enforces the idea that wit alone cannot save you if you lack vigilance. Hrokabeg the bear embodies unstoppable strength and raw ferocity. If Stor-Rebeg is the savage blending of man and beast, Hrokabeg is the sheer might of nature in its most powerful form. The bear aspect stands for brute force in the hunt. He is the roaring embodiment of dominance, overcoming obstacles by confronting them head-on with an unbreakable will.
As Hircine is a creator of lycanthropy, it's no surprise his worshippers consider it a gift, even an honor, to bear the beast's form. But for those seeking a cure, a few methods do exist. The most notable is practiced by the Glenmoral Witch Coven of High Rock, also worshippers of Hircine that can turn into pigeons. I'm kidding, of course, they turn into ravens. This is a coven we're talking about after all. They can perform a summoning or ritual known as the Rite of the Wolf Giver, requiring dark magicka, the sacrifice of flesh and innocence, plus other specific ingredients, petals of a wolfsbane flower, and 1 bunch of ripened belladonna berries. This concoction can, with great difficulty, strip away the beast's blood. However, as you might guess, the ritual isn't quick or painless, and some choose to remain lycanthropes rather than pay this price. I mean, if you were a werelion, would you really want to change back to an average Joe? I guess it would make sense if you were a werebore though. Hircine's status as a Daedric Prince is reflected in his potent artifacts. Here are a few major ones. Firstly, we have Hircine's Ring. The original power lets lycanthropes assume beast form at will and suppresses their hunger. However, after Blood Moon, the enchantment changes, allowing any bearer to become a beast, though lycanthropes still suffer bloodlust. This ring first resurfaced in the Bay before the Warp in the West, and has played various roles in the series, including the Elder Scrolls II Daggerfall and the events on Solstheim. Secondly, we have the cuirass of the Savior's Hide, which is a legendary piece of armor supposedly tailored from Hircine's own peeled hide. Allegedly.
Allegedly.
How does a fella get caught up in that sort of business?
With magical properties like resistance to magicka and bolstering one's light armor proficiency, it's a badass piece of equipment. This armor makes an appearance in Morrowind, found in Telfir, the dwelling of the ancient wizard Dvaithfir, as well as Oblivion, which can be given as reward for retrieving the unicorn horn during Hircine's quest. We also find it make an appearance in the Book of Tamrielic lore, stating it travels from hero to hero, as though it has its own will. Which, if you didn't know, going back to Dvaithfir, a 4,000-year-old Dunmer sorcerer of House Telvanni managed to collect this artifact, among other unique treasures, and openly challenged thieves to come and steal them from the depths of the Corpusarium. We also have the Spear of Bitter Mercy, which is often associated with Hircine, though in Morrowind it is momentarily given out by Sheogorath for a bizarre quest. In certain older texts, notably during the Battlespire crisis, the Savior's Hide was needed to even handle the spear. So yeah, the spear is also badass. In Skyrim, during a quest, if you side with Sinding, the werewolf who stole the Ring of Hircine to control his random transformations, you can end up with the Ring of Hircine yourself. Alternatively, siding with the hunters leads you to obtaining the Savior's hide. Or you can be cunning and side with the werewolf to get the ring and then kill and skin him before leaving the grotto and obtain both. Lastly, we have the Rueful Axe, which is not created by Hircine but by another Daedric prince, Clavicus Vile. However, it's deeply tied to lycanthropy, and therefore a strong relationship to Hircine. A Hold's Guard will make a statement about this axe if you wield it, saying, "A wizard named Sebastian Lort wished for a way to end his daughter's werewolf curse. Clavicus Vile, in a dark twist, gifted him an axe deadly enough to kill the daughter instead of curing her." It can be obtained during the Daedric quest, Adadra's best friend, and may be granted as a reward from Clavicus Vile in exchange for killing Barbas. Note that Barbas must be killed with the axe. No other weapon or spell will work.
During the events of Infernal City and Lord of Souls, Prince Atreus and Sol found themselves accidentally teleported into Hircine's hunting grounds while trying to use an inactive Oblivion gate. With Hircine's werewolves in hot pursuit, they had to fight their way to portal out. Several Khajiit of the Fauché clan bravely sacrificed themselves to buy time for Atreus and Sol to escape. In Elder Scrolls II Daggerfall, the hero of Daggerfall gains Hircine's ring by successfully hunting down a rogue wereboar, acting on behalf of Hircine via the Glenmoral Witches. As mentioned earlier, Hircine himself appears in Solstheim to conduct the Blood Moon Hunt, which is of course part of Elder Scrolls III Morrowind. The Nerevarine defeats him within the Mortrag Glacier, preventing the island from succumbing to an era-ending catastrophe. Hircine makes another appearance in Oblivion.
The unicorn runs wild there. Bring me this creature's horn, mortal, if you dare.
As the champion of Cyrodiil hunts down a unicorn for Hircine, retrieving its horn. The Daedric Prince then rewards them with the Savior's hide. Then in Skyrim, we learn more about Hircine's influence on the Companion's Circle. Turfig made a deal with the Glenmoral Witches for lycanthropy. This gave them great power, but damned their souls to Hircine's realm instead of allowing them to rest in Sovngarde. Later, Sinding tries to control his transformations by stealing the Ring of Hircine. He fails miserably, and the Dragonborn is drawn into Hircine's machinations. Depending on your choices in dealing with Sinding, you can end up with either the Uncursed Ring or the Savior's Hide, and Hircine is pleased with either outcome, as it's the thrill of the hunt that actually matters. If you want to truly test your mettle against Hircine and his worshippers, consider venturing into the March of Sacrifices dungeon in the Elder Scrolls Online Wolfhunter DLC. There, you can participate in a grand challenge within Hircine's hunting grounds, facing off against fearsome beasts and other participants, all vying to earn the prince's favor.
Hircine's realm is a vast, untamed wilderness, packed with dense forests, open grasslands, and savage beasts. We're talking werebears, massive wild cattle, unicorns, you name it. The creatures here are much larger and stronger than anything you'd find in Tamriel. Even the spirits of mortal animals get brought in by Hircine to keep the hunt going. Now here's the catch. Anyone who dies in the hunting grounds, yeah, they stay there. Forever. It's not just a one-time adventure, it's an eternal cycle. But for followers of Hircine, that's actually the reward. They're promised an afterlife in this realm, where they can hunt to their heart's content. Think of it like an extreme sport that never ends, in kind of a Buddhistic way. There are even hunting lodges scattered across the landscape where hunters can rest, assuming they ever stop hunting. Lycanthropes are bound to Hircine and death, spending eternity in the thrill of the hunt. But there is a way out. If a lycanthrope gets cured after death and before their soul is fully claimed, they might escape to a different afterlife, like Sovngarde. But once Hircine gets his hands on them, that's it. They're in for good. And here's how the cycle works. By day, werebears and fierce Nords prowl the land, hunting and being hunted. But once night falls, Hircine himself shows up with his own pack of werewolves to take over the chase. This happens every single day, forever. Now, the Great Hunt is a term that gets thrown around a lot. It's another name for the hunting grounds, but more specifically, it refers to the massive hunting contests Hircine holds, both inside and outside his realm. Inside the hunting grounds, these great hunts are always happening, but on Nirn, they're much rarer, like we talked about earlier in Morrowind. Because of these never-ending great hunts, the blood moon, that ominous red moon tied to Hircine, naturally appears in the hunting grounds. So what does the hunting grounds actually look like? Well, imagine a wild, endless forest. But it's not just trees and dirt. This realm is full of different landscapes, each with its own deadly beauty. There's a grassy savanna where a red sun hangs overhead, making the rivers look like they're flowing with blood. Massive antelopes with twisted horns roam here, alongside 6-foot-tall wild cattle with massive horns. The March of Sacrifices is a marshland divided into 3 sections, each mimicking different times of the day. Hunters moving through the area will actually see time shift before their eyes, from dusk to night, and even the plants change color. This place is crawling with mystical creatures, such as lurchers or wisp mothers and more. The Hunter's Grotto is a hidden area that connects to the Reach. It's a lava tube where magma and lush plant life clash in a surreal environment. The Reachmen of the Spirit Blood clan use it for dangerous initiation trials. Then there's Hunter's Glade, a secluded part of the realm that can be accessed from the Rift. It's basically a werewolf's paradise, where they can stay in their transformed state indefinitely. And fun fact, by the Second Era, the ruins around the portal to this place were actually up for sale as a private residence. Kinda cool. Hircine stands out among his Daedric kin for a singular devotion to the hunt. He doesn't crave infinite destruction like Mehrunes Dagon, nor does he indulge in chaotic madness like Sheogorath. Instead, he's fixated on the thrill of pursuit, the balance between predator and prey, and the test of skill on both sides. If you choose to worship him, or simply cross his path, be prepared for a fair but deadly challenge. Lycanthropy, blood moon hunts, cunning witches, and revered artifacts all circle back to one fundamental truth. Hircine values the hunt above all else, and whether you stand as his ally or his next target, he'll show you exactly why he's one of the most intimidating and respected Daedric princes in Tamriel. If you enjoyed this deep dive, leave a comment with your own tales of Hircine, perhaps your best werewolf moments or times you earned the Savior's hide. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more Elder Scrolls lore, and remember, enjoyed time is never wasted time, and we'll see you in the next.